I get asked all the time, what's the benefit of working with the correspondent lender as opposed to a broker or maybe a local bank? And I'm going to try to explain that in this video. A local bank is basically a bank that lends in most of the time a geographic area. You walk into your bank, you open up your checking and savings, and they can offer loan programs. A broker is kind of the middleman between you and the lender. So they'll shop around and find the right lender for you, and then submit your file to the lender, and then that lender will underwrite your file. A correspondent lender is a lender who originates and actually funds your loan. And what that means is that the correspondent lender actually underwrites your file. They process the whole thing. But they also have the flexibility of shopping around and finding you the best rate. So they predetermine which lender has the best interest rate for you, and then they underwrite the file and process it. So all the control kind of stays there. If you're shopping around for a mortgage, I think a correspondent lender is the best place to go. And here's why. A local bank has one or two products, and their interest rate is the interest rate. They can't really shop it around. So there's no flexibility, and a lot of times they have these guidelines that they really are strict and stop at a certain point. So maybe your debt ratio is a little bit higher than the maximum, or maybe your credit score is a little bit lower. They have these kind of hard stops that could stop you from getting the loan. And from the competitive standpoint, they don't have the flexibility of shopping around. So a broker, in my opinion, is a great place to go as well. A broker has the flexibility of shopping your rate around and finding you the right program. The problem is that they lose full control of your process. They send it to the bank, and then you're lost in that bank's process. Now you're dealing with a broker, and then you're dealing with a bank, and then you're dealing back with a broker, and back and forth. The process is a lot clunkier when you're working that way. And then you're always dealing with different people. You kind of lose track of where you are in the process. And think of a correspondent lender as an all-in-one place to get your mortgage. So they can shop around for the best program, but when they place you with the lender, they lock your rate for you, they process your loan for you, and they fund your loan for you. So all the control stays in one place, and the processing stays in one place. I put together 10 reasons why you should work with a correspondent lender when you're purchasing your home. Number 1, greater flexibility. Correspondent lenders often have more flexibility in their guidelines, in their loan options, which puts you into the best position to qualify for a property. Number 2, faster processing times. Correspondent lenders have a more streamlined process, generally speaking, that helps your loan get approved faster and close quicker. Number 3, you got it, competitive rates. Everybody wants the lowest rate. Correspondent lender not only funds your loan and underwrites the file, they have the flexibility of shopping your rate with all the different lenders. That gets you the best rate and the best program for your needs. Number 4, more loan options. Most people think that everyone should be getting a 30-year fixed. Well, having more loan options to look at might open up your eyes to better programs. For example, if you're comparing a 30-year fixed rate with maybe a 7-year ARM, where the rate is fixed for just the first 7 years, you'll notice that the 7-year ARM has a substantially lower rate and a lower payment. Well, why would you do an ARM? Well, if you are not going to stay in the house for more than 5 years, there really is no reason to do a 30-year fixed mortgage. So getting a lower interest rate with an ARM might be beneficial for you. Correspondent lenders have all these different programs, and they can place you with the one that's right for you. Not just a plain 30-year fixed. There might be something better out there. Number 5, access to a wider number of lenders. This is important because you may not qualify with a conforming loan, and you would qualify maybe for an FHA loan, or maybe you need a VA loan or a jumbo loan. Where you don't qualify one way, you may qualify in another. Number 6, more specialized expertise. Loan officers that work at correspondent lending institutions generally are a lot more knowledgeable as far as what programs are out there. And most correspondent lenders work really hard to understand the different nuances between programs. There is always training, and then when a new program comes out, they're the first really to understand it and help apply it to help more homeowners. Number 7, direct relationships with underwriting. Correspondent loan officers generally have direct access to the underwriter who is approving your loan. So if there's an issue, all they have to do is make a phone call and try to resolve the issue with the underwriter directly. And of course, you'll hear about there being a problem on a Friday, and now you have to wait all weekend to get an answer. Having a loan officer who can just pick up the phone and call the underwriter and get answers is a huge benefit. Number 8, online convenience. Most correspondent lenders invest in technology. All they do is work on helping you buy a house. That's the main focus. No checking, no savings to worry about. They're invested in making the process as streamlined as possible. They do this with online platforms, advanced technology, and there's a lot of AI coming out right now to make it even faster to get your loan approved. Correspondent lenders are fully vested to making that process faster, more efficient, and better for the consumer. And what does that do for you? Gives you peace of mind because you're getting answers quickly, efficiently, and you don't have to worry as much. Number 9, personalized service. This kind of goes hand in hand with number 7. So a correspondent lender has a team that generally works with a loan officer. It's the same team throughout the whole process. It's the same team with all the different customers. Having that kind of consistency is a huge benefit to the customer because there's a relationship between the loan officer, the processor, the underwriter. When you have a good team in place, the process goes much smoother. When you have all these different people that never really met each other and they're always dealing with all these different loan officers and processors, it gets really messy. And sometimes you don't even know who to talk to. Number 10, less bureaucracy. When you're getting a mortgage, there's a lot of red tape. Here's an example. Let's say underwriting is having issues with your income. Maybe you switched jobs a few times over the last couple of years. You went from part-time to full-time and then back to part-time. That's something that happens often where people are just kind of figuring out where they're going to be from an income perspective. But that causes issues with underwriting because we're trying to calculate your income appropriately. You need somebody who can stamp that, and you need somebody who can stamp it relatively quickly. When you're going through a local bank, for example, there's so much red tape and you have to go up so many different levels, it's very difficult to get answers. For a correspondent lender, because of the direct relationship with management, with upper management, secondary, and all of these different departments, you're able to get answers very quickly and avoid all that red tape. So before you make a decision on which lender you're going to be working with, consider these 10 benefits of working with a correspondent lender and bring up these points with the lender that you're going to be working with. This is a huge financial commitment that you're doing by purchasing a property. You want it to be in a professional's hands that you can trust and, more importantly, can get the job done in time.